Hi guys, welcome to lesson 10, which is about how to analyze print advertisements. So directly linked to the previous lesson, where of course we focused on how to analyze TV adverts, i.e. moving image. So just like the previous one, this lesson and what you're going to go through is going to equip you with the necessary skills and knowledge to be able to do task one in your brief assignment, which is all about describing and evaluating different cross-media campaigns. So when you are looking across media, you'll have TV style adverts, and of course you'll have print style adverts, and this is the one where we look at print style adverts. It's relatively short from my end, but the work you have to do will take you quite a bit of time. So let's go through it. Right, so essentially this normally would be obviously a lesson taught in class, and you'd be asked to do some of the mini tasks. So do try and stick to that, even though you will see the answers for what I'm about to go through. So what makes the print advertisement on the following slide effective? And what different advertising techniques can you spot? You should try and think back to when you've done advertising slogans and techniques. So here you go. I'm going to leave this advert up for a little while as you have a think about it. Okay, so just to remind you of the questions. What makes the advert effective, and what techniques can you spot? So I'm just going to leave that up here for a few seconds while you take it all in. Okay, hopefully you will have noticed quite a few elements there. It's quite a distinct and arresting image that's being used. Okay, now let's look at some of the things before we actually consider the answers or possible answers to analysing this particular print advert. Let's look at the kind of things that make a good print advert, and some of them you will have identified in this. Okay, so we've got a clear and effective image. That's quite apparent straight away. You can see that this is a very arresting image. It immediately captures people's attention. You've got beautiful, stunning mountains in the background, and you've got quite a stark contrast in the very strangely dressed individual in the foreground. As a result, it's memorable. There's an emotional involvement because of the kind of stunt-like activity this connects to. It's informative. It tells you in the top right hand corner who this individual is, and of course it reminds you who they are associated with in the branded clothing they wear, and of course the slogan and name in the top left. And that's very important. All adverts have slogans, catchphrases and taglines, and that's to entice the audience and remember them. And almost all of you are sitting at home right now, and you'll be able to repeat the kind of very famous and very powerful Red Bull slogan, which gives you wings, and it's one that they've repeated often over and over again, and most people know it off by heart. There are other companies who have been similarly effective and similarly powerful in being able to embed slogans in our minds. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nike, and they're the ones that are very good at this. We've got persuasive language is often used as well in most adverts. The language is usually clear, to the point, so there's no real need to work out anything complex. If there is any working out to be done, it's usually to get you thinking. Okay, there's the kind of font style used is appropriate in that it's easy to read, sans serif or serif. The color scheme usually sticks to 3 or 4 colors so that it doesn't look too busy or doesn't overcomplicate things. And in this image, you'll see, even the clouds and the kind of greyish bluish mountains reinforce the colours of Red Bull here, which of course are repeated throughout. It's a clear layout, we can see that as well. The name of the product is very prominent. In this particular one, there are no links to the website, but you often see that in print adverts. Brand identity is obvious. The logo, the name of the brand company is in the top left, but also all over the stuntman's clothing. It's eye-catching for a number of reasons, as I mentioned before. The very arresting image, and also the kind of camera angle and the framing of the shot. All of it makes it very, very eye-catching. Now let's have a look at the image with some annotations made in the style that you will be expected to do yourself with some print adverts once you have finished watching this video. So here we go. We've got up here in the top right hand corner, if we start from the top left, we've got the adaptation of Red Bull gives you wings slogan. Instead of using the kind of well-known slogan, we've got find your wings. That's obviously to do with, that's directly connected to this image because he's got wings here. And why has he got wings? Well, over in the top right hand corner, we have this information which reinforces that this is a legitimate image of a legitimate stunt. And, this is really important to the brand identity. It's making it clear that, they associate themselves with real, stuntmen, and they associate themselves with people who actually carry out these kinds of activities, whatever you want to call them, whether they're X Games or whether they're kind of, basically the kind of activities that your average individual won't get involved in, and it's not your average sport. So here we've got Russian bass jumper. Okay, Valery Rozov spreads his wings high above the clouds as he prepares to leap from the 14,000-foot peak of Mount Ushna in Georgia. So the whole thing about being a base jumper means that he's got wings, and this connects directly to the slogan that they've developed for this particular advert, which is obviously a play on the slogan that they know most people know by now. The language is persuasive. It's using the second person and imperative. It's talking directly to the audience. And as we mentioned before, the typeface is nice and simple. Okay, it's a sans serif. There are no, curled edges or any kind of fanciful bits and pieces in the design of the font. It's easy to read and therefore easy for the audience to consume. The name of the product is repeated 3 times, 1, 2, and over here. Okay, and also actually on the hat as well, so you could argue 4 times in total. And this is reinforcing the brand identity and of course the brand name. If we move to the right, we've got clear and effective use of wide angle lens to demonstrate just how high up the individual is. And this, creates the powerful aspect of the image as well. We've got a nice color scheme, which of course is directly linked to the brand identity of blue, red, and bits of yellow. And finally, the point we're making in this bottom right hand corner is the layout is nice and uncluttered and clear. We can see Valery here, we can see the mountains, we can see his camera just on top of his head, and there's plenty of space left in the image up here, plain and simple, for the information, the actual product, and the adapted slogan. Okay, so now it's over to you. All right, so for this lesson, you now have to go and find at least 3. If you want to do more, that's fine. effective print adverts similar to the one that we've looked at. Ideally, we'd like you to stick to drinks companies given the nature of the assignment, and then you need to annotate them in the way that this has been annotated. Okay, so this won't be easy to do directly into Blogger. Please use another application that you have access to. Those of you that have Office at home, something like PowerPoint is nice and easy for annotations. Anything that will make it easy for you to work on, use that, and then screen grab and put it into your prep blog. Underneath here, we've just listed the kind of drinks companies that you may find adverts for. So we've got Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and then some less known ones: Innocent, San Pellegrino, Evian, Red Bull, Monster, and Cravendale. So have a look online first. Make sure they are print adverts and not just a plain image. In order to be an advert, they've got to have certain elements in them that we've already discussed. Transport the actual images across and then annotate them. All right, guys. Okay, speak to you again soon. Good luck.